Hi all, so as I've spoken about in the past, as inspectors we take the cover off the electrical panel, and I want to show you a finding from yesterday that bubbled to the top of my list. 40 amp breakers, 14 gauge wire. So that was a 40 amp double pole breaker serving a 240 volt circuit. The panel wasn't labeled, so I'm not sure what it was serving, but the wire was way undersized for 40 amps. That should be that was a 14 gauge wire. It should be 8 gauge, so much larger. And you can see here's an example of what it looked like and what it should have looked like as far as wire size. So the panel wasn't labeled, so I'm not sure what it was serving, but there was an AC unit and a 240 volt outlet on the side of the house. So it could have been those. My hunch is it was one of those, but if it wasn't and all it needed is 15 amps, which is not likely, you just have to switch the breaker out. Simple fix to switch it to a 15 amp breaker so that's matched up appropriately with the wire size. Alternatively, if it is truly serving the circuit based on the breaker that's installed, something larger, then that whole circuit should be rerun as far as we have appropriate 8 gauge wire. By the way, as far as wire gauge, smaller the number, larger the wire. Bigger the number, smaller the wire. Why was that more difficult than it should have been? So while it's usually a matter of opinion if a buyer asks what they should tackle first, something like this would bubble towards the top of the list. If there's an appliance or some outlet that's truly drawing 40 amps and it's running that current across an undersized wire by that much, it'll likely quickly overheat and become a hazard. Have a great day.